members of the United Nations Security Council met to discuss the American missile strike that hit a Syrian regime airbase early on Friday. The US and its allies on the council say it's an appropriate response to the deadly chemical attack that killed more than 80 civilians on Tuesday.
It was time to say enough, but not only say it, it was time to act. Bashar al-Assad must never use chemical weapons again, ever. The United States will no longer wait for Assad to use chemical weapons without any consequences. Those days are over. But now we must move to a new phase, a drive toward a political solution to this horrific conflict. We expect the Syrian regime and its allies to take the UN political process seriously, something they have not done up until this point. The United States took a very measured step last night. We are prepared to do more, but we hope that will not be necessary.
Assad, on Tuesday, showed us yet again, this time in Idlib, that he is capable of redefining horror. Tuesday's attack must be fully investigated. Impunity cannot be the norm. We will continue to work with our partners on this Security Council to ensure that those responsible are brought to justice. The United Kingdom supports the US airstrike on the Al-Shairat airfield because war crimes have consequences, and the greatest war criminal of all, Bashar al-Assad, has now been put on notice.
Well, the US airstrikes follow through on President Trump's promise to take action after he said the regime had crossed several lines earlier in the week. Kevin McAleese has more on the reaction from Washington, D.C.
Well, the opinion here in Washington, D.C. is very much that we have a president who isn't afraid to go it alone, who isn't afraid to take military action when he believes it's necessary. And we also have a president, perhaps, who is prone to a moral or emotional reflex. That's how many people are viewing this response to those horrific images in Idlib province of those choking children. He was clearly moved and he wanted to do something about it. So he took this action. He used the military power at his disposal. And of course, in the process, has entered a very complex battlefield. A man who cozied up to Russia for a large part of his campaign, now has sort of set up a confrontation with them and their interests in Syria. And, you know, there had been no role in Syria for this Trump administration beyond trying to continue the fight against Daesh. Trump had never come out and suggested he would be taking any action against Assad's government until these missiles were fired from those Mediterranean-based warships into that airfield in a bid to slap the wrist of Assad's regime in response for what the United States deems that chemical attack an atrocity against his own people.